Hey, kiddos. We are going to explore the solar system today in science. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to create an art project called the Planet Parade. So let's talk a little bit about what you may already know about the solar system and planets. Good. It's dark. Yes, very good. Okay, yeah. I think everybody can float. Things float around in outer space. That's a good one. Good job, Emily. You have to take a special spaceship to outer space, don't you? That is right. So you've probably seen those more and more as we've explored with outer space. So you see those more on TV and on the internet and all of those good ways to find out more information. So very good. You guys have very good examples already and you know a little bit about outer space. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that and we're going to learn about the planets and focus on that today. So there are 8 planets that we have in outer space now. And you can see all of those planets up here that we've got. So we're going to learn a little bit about each one of those planets and maybe some specific colors and things because we're going to make one of these planet parades using the collage. So this is what we're looking at today, and we're going to learn a little bit about each one of these planets. So let's start. I'm actually going to read one of our favorite books by Mr. Dr. Seuss, because we always love Dr. Seuss. And then we'll focus a little more individually on them. Okay. I'm the Cat in the Hat, and we're off to have fun. We'll visit the planets, the stars, and the sun. There is no place like space. I will prove it to you, and your mother won't mind if we do. Jump in, here we go. We'll fly up so high we can dance on the moon and play games in the sky. We will swing past the stars, and in case you have missed them, you'll see them soon. There's that special spaceship we were talking about. Do you think it looks exactly like that? The planets in our solar system. There are 8 of these planets that circle the sun, and soon you'll be able to name every one. So the first one, Mercury is closest to the sun, and it has burning light. It is so hot in the daytime, but freezing at night. I don't know, do you think we could live there? Might not be able to visit that one. On Venus, the weather is always the same. It's hot, dry, and windy with no chance of rain. Can you guess the next planet? Well, here's a clue. It is my home and home to thing 1 and 2. You have been living on it each day since your birth. It is third from the sun. It is our planet. Does anybody know what our planet is? Earth. It spins all the time, round and round like a top. It turns once every day, and it never will stop. So is that our favorite planet? I would say because we live here. So you may discover a different one that you like. This question has thing 1 and thing 2 in a tizzy. If the Earth is always spinning, why don't we feel dizzy? We don't feel the Earth as it spins on its way because we're spinning right with it right now every single day. So next, here is Mars. It's the color of rust. We sneeze here because it is covered with dust. Travel to Jupiter and you will find it is bigger than all the other planets combined. Whoa, you show how they're showing Jupiter, and you can fit all of the other planets inside of Jupiter. That must be really big. Saturn has rings. It's so light, who would think? It could float in an ocean and not even sink. A planet can have satellites that surround it. Uranus has lots of these objects around it. There are colors in space. I will show some to you. Neptune, planet 8, is a beautiful blue. Okay, so we've talked read actually a little bit about each one of the 8 planets. And we'll talk just a little bit in more detail about each one of those. So you see all of these planets here. And then we have them, this is what I made as a collage. It's a little bit more in detail for us. So we're going to learn a little bit more about those, even through Dr. Seuss here, helped us out. So the first planet that we talked about is Mercury. And that's this little guy right down here. And Mercury is the closest to the sun. So that's what you'll see, our sun right here, and little Mercury, the closest right here. And it is color of gray. And we learned that Mercury is very hot during the day, but it's super cold at night. All right. And Mercury also, it's kind of rocky, and they do tell us that it's a lot like our moon that we have on Earth. So the next planet is Venus. And Venus is very hot and covered in thick clouds. It's called the Earth's sister because it's about the same size. But you couldn't live there. It's way too hot. So there's another planet that's really hot. It's Venus. And that one is kind of a yellowy color. And it does have some yellow and whites in it. Venus is up here. You'll see that too. So some of that looks a little bit brownish yellow, but some of those colors kind of blend together. So that's Venus. And it's the second closest to the sun. So number 3, our third planet, which is our planet, is Earth. And Earth is our home. It has air, water, animals, and people. It's the only planet we know that has life on it. And we see Earth is blue, green, brown, and white. And why do you think it has so many different colors that we know about? So what do you think that the blue represents? Water. Very good. All the blue is our water, our oceans and our seas that show all of the blue. What do we think that the green shows us? Where do we live? What do we live on? How can we be on that? It's our land. So all of the green is our land where they show the grass and all of the good areas that we live on. And the brown are, our trees, mountains, the white, mountaintops, clouds, all of those good things. So there's our planet Earth. That's the third closest to the sun. Our fourth one is Mars. Mars is called the red planet. So it has a nickname. There's our red planet. Because it's covered in red dust. So that one's very dusty and it's red. So if you were there, you'd get covered in it. It's cold and dry, and scientists are curious to learn if anything ever lived there. So that might be a possibility, but you'll see this one is bright red. Number 5 is Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet that we learned. You guys remember what Dr. Seuss said? That we could fit all of our other planets, all the other 7 planets inside of Jupiter. So some of ours may be able to go all in there. Jupiter it's white, orange, and brown. And one interesting thing with Jupiter is that it has a great red spot. And it's considered to be a giant storm that always stays there. So you see Jupiter has that big red spot. It's harder to see up here, but we've got that. Okay, so next we have Saturn. Saturn is famous for its rings. And growing up, when I started learning about planets, Saturn was always my very favorite because of the rings. I thought they were so neat. The rings are made of ice and rock. It is also a gas planet, just like Jupiter is. So here's our Saturn, and there's those rings. And you'll see it up here as well, those shiny rings. Okay. Uranus is a blue-green gas planet that spins on its side. It's really far from the sun and super cold. So here's Uranus over here. And you'll see that Uranus is a blue-green. So some people might say turquoise, or you can just say blue-green, either one. So that's Uranus down here. I don't know. Some of you guys need to see that. We can look that up and you guys can see that as well as it's up here. And you'll see Uranus also has a type of ring, but they go the other way, opposite of what Saturn's rings go. Okay? And the last planet that we're going to talk about is Neptune. Neptune is the farthest away from the sun, farthest planet away from the sun. It's dark blue and has strong winds and storms. So lots of storms on Neptune. So Neptune's way out here, the very farthest from the sun, you'll see. And Neptune is blue with just a little bit of shade there. And you'll see that way out there. So, and there's also, the solar system is so big that's why we're just focusing on the planets right now today. And there's a new telescope out, exciting, that scientists are learning more and more about outer space and the solar system. It's called the James Webb Telescope. So hopefully we'll be able to learn a little bit more about that. And as more information comes from that telescope, scientists will let us know, and then we can do more exploring with the solar system. So we will get started in just a few minutes. All right, let's get started on making our collage, our planet parade collage. So I have a lot of different supplies out here, and you guys will get the choice of coming up and choosing your different supplies that you need. Now we're going to end up having to share. So if somebody's using the glitter, the color that you need, just be patient and wait a few minutes as they get theirs taken care of, and then it will be your turn. So kiddos, we are going to need some paper. We've got lots of different construction paper up here, different colors. And then we also have some more construction paper that's a little bit thicker, and it has some different colors too. We've got our crayons. Crayons are going to be our best friend with this as we make the different colors of the planets. We're going to have our glue sticks, which you each should have at your own tables. And then we've got several different colors of glitter that you can use. And then I also use, because these are things you can use at home if you're showing your mom and dad or you guys want to make a solar system at home. I use different lids, different circle stencils as my stencils actually to make the different planets. So this one is my biggest, and you'll see that this is what I use to make Jupiter because it's so big. So we have this right here that I traced to make Jupiter for mine. But you will also notice that my solar system, my collage is a little bit bigger, and I made it that way so that you guys could see it better. for your collages, we're gonna be making them on this size of black paper. So our planets are gonna have to be shrunk down a little bit, but that's okay. You're still gonna have beautiful collages. So these are my different templates that I used as for my stencils. And this one is just a lid that pops out. So they're all just a little bit different in size, because you'll notice that the planets, some of them are very similar in size. So this one is simply a lid for a salt and pepper shaker. So we can just use basic things that we have at home or around our classroom. Then I also have some pipe cleaners for you guys that are shiny. If some of you want to use those as your rings for Saturn, you can do that. Or if you want to put them around the planets to make them a little bit brighter, you can do that as well. Some more glitter over here. We've also got our markers, scissors as you need to cut out. Here's a copy of our books, and if any of you guys want to read through the book and get a better look at it, please feel free to do that, and make sure that we're sharing. So I've got my big scissors over here that I have used, and actually I have started out, I already made some stencils for us to get started. So I'm going to show you now how we're going to put this planet parade together. So the first thing I started with was my sun, and that just gives me a better idea. Even though we didn't learn a lot about the sun today, this just gives us a better idea of how that solar system is lined out in the parade. So the sun is going to be our parade leader. It's going to be the start of the parade. So you'll see that there. And for the parade, for the sun, I just used orange paper and yellow construction paper, and then we can glue those together. So put a little bit of glue on here. Glue that together here. And then once we get all the planets together and looking like what we want, then we'll go ahead and stick those on the paper. So don't worry that we have to stick everything on there right now and in the same order. We can do that later. So, but we have started with our sun. So I'm going to put that up there just as our start. So that's the leader of our parade. And I'm going to leave the glue stick open because we're going to use it a lot. Okay, so next, what was our next planet? Anybody remember? What's the smallest and closest planet to the sun? Mercury. Very good, Mercury. And what color was Mercury? Anybody want to say? Very good. It's gray. Mercury is gray. So I'm going to take my crayons. We can just lay those out so that we can see those. See all the colors at once. That's always what I like to do. And here's my color gray. So I'm going to color. Just add all kinds of different color. And I'm working a little bit faster than what you have to. We have plenty of time for this. So if you want to take a little more time and make it darker or lighter or put some different features on it, you can please feel free to do that. And actually this table here is giving me a little bit of texture to my planet, so that's kind of cool. So you've got gray, you've got the gray Mercury right here. And you could, because we have some silver on here, you could take, and I'm going to use this paper to put underneath mine so I don't make crazy mess. You could take and put a little bit of glue here and there, because I want you guys to be as creative as you want to with these planets. This is your planet parade, so you can be as creative as you would like. And see, just sprinkle a little bit of that glitter on the planet, on old Mercury here. Let me get that up here. Ooh, being difficult.
challenging me here, isn't it? And there is Mercury. So we've got that one all done. So we're gonna set Mercury over there with the sun and we're gonna let it dry. And we will get started on planet number 2. It starts with a V. Does anybody remember? It's yellow and a little bit bigger than Mercury. Venus. Venus, Venus. Very good. So I had this color for Venus already printed out. But since we know that Venus is yellow, I think the best thing would be to use yellow paper and cut it out. So we can take this yellow here, use that, it's a little bit bigger, but I'm going to take my pencil or your crayon, whatever you can, and go around Venus to make a new stencil. So there's that, and then you can take your scissors and cut around Venus. And again, I said, I'm working faster than what I normally would, and that normally than what you guys have to. So we're gonna take our time when you guys get started. So mine's a little bit not circular, the whole thing, but that's okay. You guys will have plenty of time to work on this. And so you'll see there's your Venus. And really, you don't have to do a lot to Venus, but if you wanted to, again, you could take a white crayon since we know it has different textures in it. You could do that. Or if you wanted to use some gold or different glitter for that, you can do that as well. You have those Saturn rings if you wanted to cut pieces of your pipe cleaner, you could put that on there. Again, creativity, be creative. So there is Venus for us. All right, next is that planet that they call the red planet, because it is the brightest red planet there. Correct, Mars. Very, very good. So for Mars, I used a pink piece because I didn't have red, but I used a pink piece of construction because at least it gave me a little bit more color to start with. And then I used my red crayon, or you can use the red marker, however you want, and I just colored it in, just to make it as red as I could. But yes, you can definitely, I'll show you, you can definitely use red markers. Whatever works best for you. And we're just making it as red as we can. Okay. And you guys will have plenty of time, remember, to make these darker and fill them all in. So here is Mars. Next we have Earth. So I use 2 because Neptune, remember, is also blue, but Neptune is a little bit bigger than Earth. And for Earth, you have your blue planet because there's all the water on Earth. And then I took a piece of green construction paper and just cut out a few little pieces of green in weird little shapes. And in the books you'll see, because these are kind of shaped like the continents. So you have Africa, and then you have North America and South America and all the good places. So you honestly can cut them out as best as you can to make them look like some of the continents that fit on your paper. And I know that might be a big word, continents, but they're just all the different, all the land that we have on Earth inside the water. And then I took and put some glue. I'm going to use that piece of paper over here. Again, put my glue on, glue stick. And then you can just stick it on like we did here. Looking at my stuff for examples. I'm gonna trim it. Okay, use a little more glue for that part. And then I'm gonna glue that on. Earth. Okay, so here's our Earth, our planet, where we live. Let's see here. And Earth, what do we know about Earth? It has air, water, animals, and people, of course. Okay, so next, oh, actually, I think I created that wrong, guys. Teacher messed up here. Mrs. Garland messed up. We have Mercury, we have Venus, Earth, and then Mars. So I jumped ahead. That is my fault. Okay, so next we have Jupiter. So Jupiter is our biggest planet. And I used this color for Jupiter because it was tan, which is kind of the color of Jupiter. Because Jupiter has, it's white, kind of a light brown, some oranges in there. And then also, what do we know about Jupiter? We're going to have to add some red because it has a big red storm in it. So for Jupiter, I used some brown crayon and some orange crayon. And then even a little bit white. It was a little bit harder to see. But I just took and went over Jupiter, added some different colors in there. Here and there. And honestly, what I would do first is make your big red spot so you know where you want it. Just so we color around it. And then I just shaded it in. You can do as much or as little as you want. And then I added a little bit of orange. Just give it a little bit orangish brown. That's what's great about crayons and colored pencils, markers. You can just blend them to make them look how you need them to look. So here's our Jupiter. So we got that big red storm right there. All right, Saturn. Woo, one of my favorites. So Saturn, we know, is kind of a yellowish color. It's got some gold and brown. And then the rings are also, the rings have some yellow, gold, grays, brown, pinks even, I read that there was even some pink. So I used to start a yellow. So I used my yellow construction paper to cut out Saturn. So here's the main part of Saturn here. And I added the same too. I added some, it said we have some browns in it. So I created just a little bit of there. And as dark or as light as you want. I just did some different shading on it. If you want to color it all in, you're welcome to. Let's see. It said they had some gold and some yellow on there. And we don't have a gold crayon. There's a one that's called apricot here. That might be a little bit of gold that we could add. If you wanted to add a little bit more in there. Okay, and then I have the ring of Saturn. And if you need help with this, please raise your hand and myself and Mrs. Susie will come around and we can help you cut those out. They're a little trickier, but you can definitely use this as a stencil and we can make another smaller stencil if you need to for your rings. But they said the rings had a little bit of brown on them. And I'm gonna add that here to my rings. And then the best thing and the fun thing that I thought is I added some gold glitter. But remember, we do have pipe cleaners too. So if you wanted to add a pipe cleaner as the ring, you could try that as well. And I think, I didn't add any glitter on my actual planet, but I think it's cool to add some, maybe some glitter on the planet too, on the actual planet. Just not very much. And when I read about Saturn having some pink in its, let's pull this piece of paper back over here to help us with the glitter. And we do have some paper plates too that we can put on your desk if you want to use the glitter. That way the glitter goes straight on the plate. So here's a little bit of gold on Saturn. You can see that. And then I'm gonna add some glue to the rings, and I'm gonna add a lot more. I'm gonna cover my ring completely in glue so that I can get a lot of glitter to stick. Because I think it's really cool to make it shiny. And when I read about the being pink, having some pink in there, I knew I had some pink glitter, and I thought I'm gonna add some pink glitter to it as well. So here's some pink glitter, and then some gold glitter. And then you're gonna shake it off, and then here is your glitter. And we will attach, when we put this on the paper, that's when we'll attach the rings, and I'll show you how to do that. So here is Saturn. A little bit more tricky. Okay. All right. Our next planet up is Uranus. It's kind of a funny name, isn't it? So Uranus, we know, is blue-green, so kind of a turquoise, if you like that better. And for Uranus, I did just a little bit of shading. So again, you guys, I want you to be as creative as you can. So you guys decide what and how much color you want to use. So if you want to color it all in, because I use the light blue paper just to get my color started, but you can color the whole thing in and then add some different features on there. You can add a more bluish color on there for that turquoisey blue look. So here is Uranus. So similar, but again, yours doesn't have to look, it doesn't have to be the exact same as mine. Some of the colors will be a little bit different, and that's okay. I want you to get as close to those colors that we talked about as possible, but it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You use your creativity to get the colors, to come out. Okay, so our very last planet, number 8, is Neptune, and Neptune is blue. It was a very blue planet. So I didn't do a lot to Neptune, just to give it a little bit of to depth and give it a little bit of character. I just added a little bit of white here and there. So just to give it a little bit of character, but you don't have to have a lot on there. So Neptune is probably the most simple other than Venus, but here are our planets. Hopefully I got them all right. Did we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that we have all 8 planets, and we had our sun to start with. So then what we're going to do is you're going to take your black paper, and we are going to glue those down. Now, I have solar system on there. You don't have to, but if you would like to write solar system above, you could use a white crayon and use that. The white will show up on the black. So that is up to you. So then the first thing we're going to do is take the sun. Okay, so we're going to glue our sun down, because that's the leader of our parade, remember? Put our sun in the very corner. Okay, and our next planet, our very first and closest to the sun, is Mercury. And it's glittery, so we got some glitter coming off of here. Okay, so I'm gonna put Mercury way down here and very close to our sun. Okay, next is Venus. Venus wants to stick to me. So I'm going to put some more glue on Venus. And Venus is just a little bit farther away from the sun than Mercury. So I'm going to gauge there, and I'm going to put Venus just a little bit farther out than Mercury. Okay. We have Earth. We're just going to add glue to all the different planets. Make sure they're on there good. And Earth is just a little bit farther out from the sun than Venus. So I'm going to put Earth just about there. Okay. Next we have, anybody remember what that red planet is? Mars. Very good, very good. You guys are scientists already. Scientists in training. Okay, and Mars is just a little bit farther out than the Earth. So got Mars. Okay, next we have Jupiter, our biggest planet. And what does Jupiter have on it? What is that big spot? Anybody remember? The big red spot is a storm. It's a scary storm. Okay, and I'm going to put him over here a little ways. And then next up, one of my favorites. It has a ring. Anybody remember the name? Saturn. Very, very good. So Saturn's just a little bit farther out than what Jupiter is, and we're going to pull Saturn clear over here, just so he can grow outward there. I'm going to put some more glue. I'm going to do that over here since this one's a little bit more messy. But we have things that we can clean, so don't worry about the mess. We're going to stick that ring on Saturn. Okay, we're getting down to the last two, and we have got Uranus, that turquoise planet. And we're going to put Uranus out here a little ways, just a little farther out. Do have to be careful on your placements, because that's a very important part of the solar system, is knowing the order of the planets and how far away from the sun they are. So that one's going to go, and you know what, we're going to, Mrs. Garland is going to go ahead and pull Saturn up a little bit. Just a little, because remember, it's a little bit farther out than Jupiter. Okay, and last but not least, this bright blue planet is Neptune. And it is the farthest away from the sun. So we're going to stick Neptune way out here. And you know, because I used some glitter on some of the different planets, it got a little bit messy on the paper, but that is perfectly fine, because in the solar system, as you'll learn later, we have lots of different asteroids and different colors and things out in outer space in the solar system. So if it gets a little bit of glitter on the paper, that's okay. But you can also come here and shake that off a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. It just gives it a little more character. So here is our solar system. There's your planet parade. So it's not going to look, remember, it's not going to look exactly like mine. It's not going to look exactly like the one we have on our pictures or in the books, and that is okay, because I want you guys to be as creative as you can be. So what you're going to do is we're going to take turns, and we'll have you come up and get your supplies. And you'll go back to your desks and start working. The first thing you need to start working on is cutting out the shapes, the different shapes of your planets. And then you'll add the color and all the creative stuff to it if you want to add glitter. And then we'll get those all ready to go. And then we'll create this, we'll start putting it together on the paper for your solar system. All right, let's have fun.